What's going on, Warriors? It's Coach Jay. Listen, guys, today's video, I'm just gonna break down, it's just gonna be raw, unfiltered shit. I'm gonna be honest with you guys when it comes to type 1 diabetes and things that I've noticed in medical circles, in the medical industry, and things that have happened to type 1 diabetics and certain things that we go through as type 1 diabetics. I think it's important. If it's first time on the channel, I help diabetics to build muscle, to burn fat, to manage their blood sugars overall, but I also help in terms of supplements. So if you're someone that's just coming for supplements, you wanna understand more supplements, different reviews on different stuff, I also do that as well. If any of that sounds good, just smash that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you guys don't miss out. Hit that like button, just helps me get more videos out like this. We're just gonna jump in, be real with it, and I'm gonna see you guys in this video. It's important that us diabetics, we really understand the truth about what's going on, especially type 1 diabetics. And one of the things that I notice a lot of type 1 diabetics are falling through the cracks of the system. You're either getting misinformation or the wrong information and not really getting what you need in order to get yourself where you want to go when it comes to either your body goals, your fitness goals, or just your overall health. I'm not doing this video to hate on doctors or to hate on whatever. My goal with this is just to be honest with you guys and be straightforward about the things that I've seen and what the truth is that I've experienced myself being a type 1 diabetic for over 23 years. Having played semi-pro hockey, having played football, having played soccer, having bodybuilded as a type 1 diabetic and been diagnosed at 11 years old. And being a personal trainer for over 11 years and specifically helping diabetics. First and foremost, misdiagnoses. Now, if you're a type 1 diabetic and you're being misdiagnosed, that's an issue. And if you think that maybe you're a type 1 diabetic who's been misdiagnosed, what you're gonna wanna do is this, very simple. Go to your doctor and ask your doctor for a GAD antibody test. The GAD antibody test is gonna measure how many antibodies are in your system right now. And those antibodies are specifically designed to attack the beta cells of your pancreas. So if those antibodies are high running those tests or a little bit higher than normal running those tests, then it's a sign that you're a type 1 diabetic. Number 2 is you want a C-PEPTIDE test. A C-PEPTIDE test is going to measure the amount of insulin that's in your system, or a pro-insulin that gets created within your pancreas that leads to insulin. Now, if these C-PEPTIDE levels are low, that's gonna be a signal that you are a type 1 diabetic. Why is this important? It's important because if you're a type 1 diabetic and your doctor's just giving you metformin to treat that, then they're treating you like a type 2 diabetic, and it means you've been misdiagnosed. It means that you're not gonna know exactly what to do to control your diabetes. You're gonna be given the wrong information. It's gonna lead you to potentially have more issues and more problems. And so getting that down pat is extremely important. And so if you're somebody who's been through this situation and maybe your blood sugars are going high and you don't know why, and you're on metformin, you're on Ozempic, you're on one of these medications that's more designed to help out type 2s, then you're gonna wind up having yourself a situation. It's gonna be frustrating because no matter what you're doing, no matter how hard you're trying, it just seems like you can't get your blood sugars under control. Another thing type 1 diabetics are being told is don't eat carbohydrates, remove carbohydrates from your diet. I disagree with this. This, at the end of the day, in my opinion, being a type 1 diabetic for over 23 years, is more of an avoidance mechanism. Now, if you're somebody who does not give a shit and you just don't control and your mind is not open to understanding your body more, then I can understand why your doctor might say to get rid of carbohydrates out of your diet. But the truth about it is, again, it's an avoidance mechanism, because in avoiding carbohydrates, you also avoid understanding your body more. You avoid knowing how your body responds to carbohydrates. And if we have restriction in this area of our life, imagine where else we're gonna have restriction. And so understanding more about how these carbohydrates impact your body for you intuitively can really help you to live a life that's a little bit more open, a little bit more liberated, for example. I'm not saying that this is something that's easy, because it's gonna take a little bit of practice, it's gonna take a little bit of fine tuning, it's gonna take learning, but in doing that, you open yourself up more to life rather than leading with restriction. And instead of avoiding, we dive deeper into ourselves to have better knowledge and better knowing and better learning. And the other things I hear too when it comes to type 1 diabetics is, you know, I'll get things like, I'll have diabetics come to me that are in my program or that are part of our community, link to the community down below, our diabetic lean body transformation community. But a lot of people will come to me and say, Jason, my doctor told me not to work out. My doctor told me not to eat rice. Right? And it's like, we got to think about where is that coming from a logical perspective or a standpoint. We have to understand that no matter if you're eating rice, no matter if you're eating a mango, at the end of the day, these things are all going to break down into carbohydrates, or carbohydrates itself are going to break down into glucose. It's going to store it as glycogen. And as a diabetic, you have to understand how to manage that glucose. And so if you can manage the glucose, it doesn't matter if you're having a mango or if you're having some white rice, it doesn't matter. Your biggest thing, again, is getting control, getting understanding over things like your insulin to carb ratio. And I'm getting passionate, guys, because I see this every day. And I don't want to see diabetics continue to lead lives that are restricted when they don't have to. And I think an important thing, even in medical circles is learning how to work with diabetics to understand these ratios better, to understand their body more intuitively, understand that better as well. I think about things when it comes to getting results in the gym and working out. If you're somebody, for example, who's avoiding carbohydrates, you're also avoiding the amount of muscle that you can actually build. What we know about carbohydrates is carbohydrates help us when we're training and we're working out. Think about things like the glycolytic system. The glycolytic system, glycolysis means the breakdown of glucose into energy, or ATP. And so if you're not using that system because you don't have enough carbohydrates on board, more susceptible to low blood sugar level, more susceptible to muscle wasting, because we already are with higher and lower blood sugars, and you're really putting yourself out of being able to maximize your potential when it comes to building muscle. And even when it comes to burning fat and losing weight, because the more muscle we have on board, the more fat we're gonna burn at rest. And so by us avoiding a category of macronutrients or being fearful of it, it puts us in a more difficult situation. Now, I'm not telling you guys to go out there and do something that you feel uncomfortable with. I'm just laying out the facts in terms of certain things that could help you guys to feel more liberated and get the results that you guys are trying to get as well. Who doesn't want to maximize their potential in this life and on this planet? Do what you can. The other thing is just the stigma, guys. There's a stigma behind type 1 diabetes. Let's be honest. When I was a kid, I used to be fearful of what people might think if I'm taking my insulin shots in public. I used to be fearful that I might not be accepted in my friends category in my group because I was a type 1 diabetic. I might be fearful that I might not get picked for the team because the team might be concerned about how are we going to manage a diabetic that's on our sports team. And these are the things as a kid, as an 11, 12-year-old, I had to think about. And I think about today in terms of even opportunity. Even me being on social media and being somebody who is a type 1 diabetic, I get shadow banned on social media at times for giving myself insulin injections because people think it's heroin or some type of other drug, when really it's just a life-saving drug that I'm using to keep myself alive and be on par with other people that are not diabetics. And so these are all the things that type 1 diabetics have to deal with, we have to go through, and on top of it too, getting the misinformation that's not necessarily leading us down the right path. And granted, there are certain situations where sometimes maybe avoidance is important to get them back on the right track. But I'm saying for the vast majority of us, I think sometimes a little bit more care and really figuring out truly where a type 1 diabetic stands is what can really help us in the long run, and also being more empathetic towards what it is that we go through, understanding that a type 1 diabetic can more than thrive with their life, given the right tools and given the right mindset to know that you can absolutely crush it no matter what. And so just wanted to give you guys that message today. It is what it is. Coach Jay got you guys back. I'll see you guys.